Colleagues, I'm gonna make a motion that if allow me to deviate from the agenda so we can go straight to the action agenda on A, business office for discussion possible action to award insurance consultant RFP number 02-0723-384. And may I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second from Mr. Martinez, a motion from Mr. Hernandez. All in favor of the motion, please by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed by saying nay? Okay, we are on the action agenda A, business office. For discussion possible action to award the insurance consultant RFP number 02-07-23-384. Ms. Chavez, we are requesting a recommendation from your administration.
The administration recommends First Financial of America.
Okay, administration is recommending First National,
First Financial Group.
First Financial Group. Group of America. Okay, colleagues, we have a recommendation from administration. May I entertain a motion, please? Any motion? Okay, is, okay, recommendation administration is denied. Let's, Tony, we could have, okay, I'd like to entertain another motion, colleagues. May I entertain a motion?
Uh,
Ma'am, the motion did not pass, therefore I am now requesting a new motion. Colleagues, I need to emphasize that we need to have a motion on the table so we can have discussion. Okay,
I would-
can- colleagues,
I would
I
like to
really
put
need
a
to have a
motion.
motion, because we need to have discussion.
Right.
Just put something on the.
I would like
on
to
the
put a motion to table it.
Okay. We have a motion from Mr. Martinez.
Second.
We have a second from Mr. Rodriguez. Tony, can we still have discussion though? Okay. Uh, the only concern I have is the time factor. Ms. Chavez, can you elaborate a little bit on the
We're-
time factor?
We're proposing, another board meeting on the 7th.
Okay, so that's not going to be too
We have
much of.
quite a few issues.
We can put it for that.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds good.
So the only concern I have, colleagues, is the hardship, and I just want to like. Is there a deadline? I mean, do we need to really have a discussion about moving on it?
The only concern is having no one to service our employees at the time.
Okay.
But we currently have a service and we have a benefits clerk that can serve as an individual to provide services to our employees, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. We do have somebody helping our employees, but we do not have the liaison with the company that communicates with the carriers, United Healthcare, Verus RX, etc. The stop loss carrier, Dallas Risk Management.
So we're looking at just March 7th, couple of weeks.
We're looking at what?
2 weeks.
March 7th, coming back to a board meeting.
Oh, okay.
So we're okay with just March 7th?
Yes.
Okay. 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 So any more discussion? Okay, so I have a motion from Mr. Martinez, second by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor saying aye?
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next option, next item, let me go ahead and, I need a motion to return to the original agenda. May I enter?
So moved.
So moved from Mr. Garcia, second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Okay, so we have a motion from Mr. Garcia, second by Ms. Vallejo. We are going back to the original agenda, so all in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed by saying nay? Okay, we are back, colleagues, to the original agenda, so, action agenda. Business office. Monday? Hold on, let me get my bearings in here real quick.
Oh,
Tree thing, right?
Let me get back to,
I think,
We didn't have to decide nothing on that one?
okay, action agenda A, business office. A1, reported discussion on the 10-year analysis of general fund revenues and expenditures. Ms. Chavez.
Ms. Garcia?
Yes. Good evening, Board President Hernandez, board members, and Superintendent of Schools, Ms. Chavez. Before you is the general revenues and expenditures from August 31st, 2013 to August 31st, 2022. This report gives an overview of the factors affecting funding in the general operating fund. On the right side, can you go to the next? There. On the right-hand side, the last column provides the financial data for 2021, 2022, the last fiscal year that was audited. On the top right, we see the tax rate of 1.352, which includes 3 disaster pennies, and the certified Hidalgo County tax values of $668 million. It's a little bit small, but. Over the last 10 years, property values have increased by 220 million, approximately 49% increase. Next is the ADA and the enrollment. Enrollment has had a decrease over the last 10 years of 1,344, and average daily attendance has had a decrease by 1,477. Towards the middle, can you go back to the previous one? Towards the middle, we have the revenue at 61 million for 2021, 2022. Expenditures are totaled at the bottom. And in 2020 and 2021 and 21-22 school year, ESSER grant impacted those expenditures. Finally, on the last row, the fund balance trend for the last 10 years can be seen. In 2017-2018, the district had its lowest fund balance, and currently the fund balance is 17.6 million. The data source for this report is the financial audit, and the next page reflects the expenditures by function. Are there any questions? No board action is needed. This is just report only.
What's, Ms. Garcia, it's refreshing, the amount of money on the ending fund balance, so good work, Ms. Chavez and your staff, so thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Garcia. Thank you. And her staff.
Mhm.
Thank you.
The next item is budget amendment number 5 for the general operating fund. It has revenue additions for the child nutrition supply chain grant of 17,260 and a reduction of 20,000 for the No Hungry Kid grant. Additionally, there's revenues that have been awarded from the Texas Clean School Bus Program of 46,125, and that was received for the replacement of a school bus specified in the grant documents. Administration recommends approval of general operating budget amendment number 5.
Okay, we have recommendation of administration. May I entertain a motion, please?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Ms. Delgado,
Second.
second from Mr. Garcia. Okay, colleagues, any discussion? Good to go? Okay, no more discussion. We have a motion from Mrs. Delgado, second from Mr. Garcia. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed by saying nay? Okay, motion passes. Next item, please.
Discussion and possible, action to award biometric, fingerprinting time clock system. The administration recommends the, system that interfaces with, Skyward.
And this is the name of the firm listed as,
We received two proposals.
okay,
This item was not included in our budget. However, after the ranking, administration is recommending School Technology Associates. The first year cost for implementation of this district-wide is $155,418. However, there's a 3-year agreement, so it would come up to a total of $163,818. This proposal includes 7-inch touch clocks with biometric readers that interface with Skyward. There was also an alternate proposal that was provided for biometric time clocks at Child Nutrition, Maintenance, and Transportation for $67,882.50. That only includes 25 touch clocks. And administration is recommending approval to award School Technology Associates with the alternate proposal of $67,882.50.
thank you, Ms. Garcia. So we have a recommendation from administration. May I entertain a motion, colleagues?
I move to table this item. After reviewing the cost, I was the one that had brought up the agenda item. But after reviewing the cost, I rather much have us put together a compensation plan, looking at these amounts that
Ms.
would address.
Ms. Delgado, may I remind you that let's not deliberate. Let's
Oh.
go ahead and make the motion first, please.
Okay.
Okay, we have a second from Mr. Howe. A motion from Ms. Vallejo. Sorry, I gotta write down my notes. And we have a second from Mr. Howe. Any discussion, colleagues? Go ahead,
Yes.
Ms. Vallejo.
Yes, I just wanted to include, I was the one that brought the item on the agenda for us to look at the RFPs. But after reviewing the cost to the district, the reason that I moved to table the item is that I rather much have us put together a compensation plan that would address an increase for our bus drivers to be compatible in recruiting, our transportation, our maintenance, child and nutrition, and our custodial personnel.
Okay, so any more discussion, colleagues? Yeah, I'm gonna just add something because, wow, that's a hefty cost. And, you bring up a valid point, Ms. Vallejo, and I think the costs can be used for other items and such, so.
Yes, I know right now, as far as to the bus drivers, I know we're not compatible with our neighboring districts. That's why it's very difficult to bring on new bus drivers. And our maintenance, our child nutrition, I just feel as a board trustee, I'm making that suggestion to the rest of the board that we look at that compensation plan for these individuals.
I'm gonna follow up, colleagues. I don't know if you're aware of it, but some of their staff reach out to Mr. Hernandez via either HEB or just at the store, and I don't know how to say it lightly, but have we gotten to this point that we have to do a biometric fingerprint? That we have to pay
Yes.
186,000. You know what? Sometimes I'm kind of embarrassed to bring this up. That we gotta have adults to go and press this in there.
I agree.
I'm kind of sorry to hear this, that we get to this level where, and it's not everybody. Es como dice mi papá, por uno todos se lo llevan. So I wish that the board would consider maybe having a discussion with Ms. Chavez, maybe later on in the road, how we can rectify the situation, because if it got so serious that it came up to the board, then, you know, that's a really bad reflection, because I'm coming from the perspective of a math teacher. You know, there's certain expectations of being a teacher, being an administrator. You are at upper echelon of society. You are to be respected. That you are willing to come and clock in and clock out and do that hard work. So, I guess
I agree with you, Mr.
I yield.
Hernandez.
Go ahead.
That
ma'am.
is initially the reason that I brought this item to our agenda, because there were many concerns. I just came on board in November, and I have been overwhelmed with that concern. That's why I put the item on the agenda. But after reviewing the cost, I think we can utilize those funds for our employees. And like you said, meet with Ms. Chavez and see what we can do in reference to our current system.
So just to be clear, there is nothing wrong with the system itself.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any more discussion, colleagues?
Mr. Hernandez, if we are going to table, are we going to bring it back to reject the bid, or do we reject the bid now?
Ma'am, at this moment, we're going to table it,
Okay.
and we'll have those conversations
Okay.
when it's fit and it's legal. I will address it with Mr. Torres.
Okay.
Okay. Any more discussion? Okay, so we have a motion by Ms. Vallejo, second by Mr. Howe. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, the item's tabled. Okay, on to the next item, 5. Discussion and possible, oh, I apologize, we are skipping 4 to 5. Go ahead, Ms. Chavez. Discussion possible action to award the child nutrition
The-
consultant services.
The administration recommends your approval of the child nutrition consultant. The individual recommended will have the nutrition licensing that we're lacking in the department.
Okay, we have, you got any discussion on it, or you just, okay. We have a recommendation from administration. I need to entertain a motion.
Motion.
Okay,
So moved.
from Ms. Vallejo. Colleagues, I need a second.
Second.
Second from Mr. Martinez. Any discussion, colleagues?
Yes, the reason that I'm
ahead.
moving on the motion is, on our last board meeting, we discussed about the certification for dietitian, nutritionist, and I see that this individual that is being recommended, has that certification.
Any more discussion, colleagues?
And that was to fulfill the needs of our students requiring special diets. So she'll be able to fulfill that service.
Okay, fair enough. Any discussion, guys? Class? Oh, sorry, colleague. No? You're paying attention, right, Mr. Garcia? Okay, I have a motion of Ms. Vallejo, second by Mr. Martinez. All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed by saying nay? Okay, motion passed. Number 6, discussion possible action to approve the request for proposals. Ms. Chavez.
The administration recommends the RFPs for the purchase of playground equipment for Travis, Taylor, Ruben Hinojosa, and JFK.
Okay, so we have a recommendation from administration. May I entertain a motion?
So moved.
Okay, I'll, motion from Ms. Vallejo. Any second, colleagues?
Second.
Okay, second from Ms. Delgado. Any discussion, colleagues? That is 6, right, Ms. Chavez? That's That's number 6, right? Discussion possible action approve the purchase proposal. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
Yeah.
Any discussion, colleagues? All right. We have a motion from Ms. Vallejo, second by Mr. Delgado. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed by saying nay? Okay, motion passed. Unanimous.
Thank you.
B, curriculum and instruction. B1, discussion of possible action to approve the 2023-2024 district instructional calendar. Ms. Chavez, please.
The administration recommends the 2023-24 district instructional calendar as voted by the district decision-making committee, and that would be calendar C.
Calendar C, okay. All right, colleagues, I need a motion, please, to discuss it.
Motion for me.
Okay, a motion from Ms. Vallejo. I need a second.
Second.
Second from Mr. Martinez. Any discussion? Calendar C, correct, Ms. Chavez?
Yes.
Okay.
In the future, maybe not this calendar year, but the next, I know some districts close to us and along the state have looked at a winter break, and maybe it may be an option provided next year, should administration think it be necessary or proper.
Any more discussion? You can ask. Mr. Howard, what's the question?
Does it have anything to do with District of Innovation? I've had some calls regarding that. Is that tied in together in the calendar?
Yes, we're looking at proposing the early start and or the possibility of early ending. We're gonna go through that whole process. As a matter of fact, we have some
Fall break.
initiatives right now to be able to look at that committee and hopefully start that conversation with the board.
I'd like to make a correction. I had said winter break, I meant fall break.
Fall
break.
Okay.
My apologies.
Sure. Okay, any more discussions, colleagues?
I had a discussion,
Sure.
Mr. Board President. I'm looking at the staff development days that we have in August. Is that the only one? Yes. Oh. I'm looking at our staff development days. I see that we only have in August. I would just make a suggestion for future reference, or I don't know if we can go back and revisit this, but I had a suggestion of more staff development days, maybe quarterly or something to that effect, to where our team can get together, our academic team, curriculum, can get together and revisit our testing, our benchmarking, and maybe from there.
I'm gonna stop right there, Ms. Vallejo. And from my perspective, I think sometimes we gotta leave that to the experts. What fits their campuses, which fixes. I honestly, I think this is their recommendation. They're saying, look, we're going to be held accountable to these staff developments. These are going to be our benchmarks. We got to give them that flexibility. That says, hey, you know what? Okay, let's go with it. That's my opinion about it. I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in there. It's the role of the board to support our staff and the superintendent. I don't know if anyone want to chime in or have a discussion about that.
I agree, President Hernandez. I think that this was a vote by the staff. I think that Ms. Vallejo makes a good point, though, but I think a lot of the professional development at the outset, the direction is set there, and then throughout the year, teachers have opportunities to meet with the administrative team, with the curriculum department, during their planning days, weekly, et cetera. So hopefully they
Right.
can take advantage and make that a productive time as well.
Yeah. Yeah, from my experiences, the professional growth is that dialogue that they have between administration and the staff. And for us to step into that, I think it's inappropriate, grossly inappropriate.
Okay.
But that's my opinion. Okay, any more discussion? Okay, we have a motion from Ms. Vallejo, second by Mr. Martinez. All in favor of saying aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Let's move on to discussion of the curriculum and instruction B2, discussion and possible action to approve TEA staff development waiver days for 2022-2023 school year. Ms. Chavez.
The administration recommends the waiver plan as presented.
Okay, we have a recommendation from administration. May I entertain a motion?
Have a motion?
Okay, a motion from Mr. Martinez. May I have a second?
Second.
Second. Sorry, I'm getting old. Who is the second?
Myself.
Mr. Rodriguez, thank you, sir. Okay, any discussion, class? Sorry, colleagues. My work. Okay, there's. No, if there's no discussion, we have a motion from Mr. Martinez, second by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed by saying nay? Okay, motion passes unanimous. Colleague, next item, C, facilities. Discussion, possible action to approve the construction project expenses, Rio Roofing Incorporated. Pay application number 3. For a roof replacement at the Mercedes Early College Academy, Mercedes High School, and Sergeant Manuel Chacon Middle School. Ms. Chavez.
The administration recommends as presented by Mr. Herrera.
Okay, we have a recommendation, colleagues, so we can have a discussion. May I entertain a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion from Ms. Delgado,
Second.
second by Mr. Howe. Okay, any discussion, colleagues? Any questions? Discussion.
I just had a question. I reviewed the pictures that were submitted, and I know we had previously discussed this on those areas, on those steel, that steel roofing, the ones that were,
The roof decking?
yes, we had a lot of open areas that were, where the metal is already rotted. I saw that we're placing metal sheets over them. We're not completely redoing the roof, but we're placing those sheets. And I read that we're going to snap them on there somehow. I don't know exactly what, but my question is, are we sealing it completely? Because those holes are still going to be underneath it, correct?
Well, good evening, Superintendent, Ms. Chavez, Board President, Mr. Hernandez, trustees. With us today is here Mr. Alejandro, and you've seen him before, and he can answer the questions on the process of the replacement of the decking.
Good evening, Superintendent, board members. My name is Alejandro Folke with Rabbi Kistner. We are the architects of record on the project. To answer your question, if you've seen the photographs, in some of them there's a guy spraying a liquid.
Yes.
That's like a whitish. That is called a rust converter. What it does, it is soaked by the rust and it turns it into a kind of inert coating. So that as the galvanizing of the metal was lost because it got corroded, that acts as a protection of the existing metal deck. Then on top of that, they will lay a new piece of metal deck and they will screw it down. That will provide additional support for that section of the roof that had a lot of corrosion.
Okay, and that's what I understood. They're gonna lay that on top. And I saw that spray, and I understood what it was for, but it doesn't seal the corrosion that we already have in place. And I saw that it's going to be bolted, the top layer is going to be bolted.
Yes.
But will there be no water that's gonna go through those layers?
No, well, on top of that, there's going to be insulation and the new membrane.
Okay, so
There's gonna be no
there's
more
still
water.
another cover on top of
Yes.
that one? Oh, okay, because I was going by the picture that was provided.
Yes, no,
Okay.
there's going to be no more water there.
Okay.
If they get wet, we're in problem.
Okay, that's
We'll
what I
call the
wanted to-
manufacturer.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're crossing our fingers. The sides, let me check my cheat sheet, but the South Vermont Avenue side was reported as the one that had the
Had the
worst
most
leaks.
leaks.
Yeah. We've completed that. It looks like by the next board meeting, most of the deck replacement allowance is going to be used. We're still going to have the betterment change, the betterment allowance funds available. It all looks that we're going to have enough money in the project to do all the metal deck replacement. It was quite a bit more than what we would have wished, but it looks we're in good condition generally. The South Indiana Avenue side is roughly half of it done, and in general, the comment we got from the foreman is that it was less deteriorated than the one on the South Vermont Avenue side. But I want to see the numbers of the final numbers.
Mr. Red, I had another question. I know we have several projects that are being worked on, but the areas that are not being currently worked on, are we putting some type of temporary fix, plastic or something? I know that recently we just had a rain and it wasn't really heavy rain, and we had really big concerns throughout our district and the conditions of some of those classrooms.
We need to consult with Robert Kishner and see what is it that we can install temporarily. But we're talking that the entire roof system in the building is giving us issues. So we may put some kind of protection in a certain area. It doesn't mean that it's not going to come from another area. And so the fastest and the best solution is to try and get as much work done in these couple months that we're anticipating good weather, so that we can get the job done. Because we have addressed and we have visited and assessed, but nonetheless, it's the entire roof system to the building that's causing us issues. The moisture and the trapped moisture in the insulation, the decking, and all that. So, I mean, do you
But
have any other?
I know we have some areas I know we have a lot of issues with the roofing, but I know we have particular areas that are more severe than others. And what I'm saying is, if we don't do a temporary, say just, a thick, heavy plastic, I'm just giving you an example, like I'm not an engineer, but what I'm saying is, as the water continues to go in through there, the damage is getting worse, or are we looking at concerns with mold? Because I saw pictures this last rain where we had like 6 trash cans in one classroom, and where the ceiling tiles had caved.
Yes, ma'am, you're correct, but there is no mold buildup. The plan with the previous administration was to relocate the classroom, students and staff, and so we quickly did go over. That area right there is probably the area that has the most impact with water leaks. At the high school right now, the roof and repair has already started, so they're in the G wing. The areas that are planned to be repaired are the E and the G wing, and that was in the E wing.
Right.
And so I'll speak to our roof foreman, if we can do something temporarily, if we do expect some rain in the near future, because right now they're in the G wing, so it's a matter of time they move over to the E wing where we're having those major leak issues. So we'll speak to the foreman and see what is it that we can do to help the situation.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Herrera, with regards to the timeline that was originally anticipated,
That's what I done.
is the work being done
You-
on schedule?
The anticipated timeline that we had spoken of the first time for the Mecca project, the early college project, they anticipated June. I did speak to Mr. Roberto, the foreman. He anticipates 3 months. So we anticipate 3 months for completion of Mecca. That puts us in May, which is, but considering we have, good weather. We have already started, they have already started also at the high school. This is the first week. And they anticipate also at the same time doing some work at Chacon Middle School. Chacon Middle School is just a gym, so it's not like a roof, total roof repair. So that'll move quickly. And so we anticipate us meeting the deadline of June for all 3 projects.
Right, we've got spring break coming up, so maybe that could also be something to take advantage of. Although right now, we're not interrupting too many classrooms, right?
No, sir. We did meet with Miss Angela, the high school principal. We had a pre-construction meeting, and so we laid out all the safety protocols, the test dates, and so often. So we're in communication to assist the campus in any capacity for the kids, students.
Great question, Mr. Ruiz. I was going to ask that too.
And so at this point, we're requesting approval of payment application number 3 in the amount of $202,172.35.
Okay, we have a motion from Ms. Delgado, second by Mr. Howe. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed by saying nay? Okay, motion passed unanimous. We're on CB. I'm sorry, 3. Hold on, I lost my bearings, sorry. 2A, there we go. Hold on, kids.
This is a payment application number 2, change order for change order. Real Roofing submitted a change order number 2. The change order utilizes deck repair replacement work that the contractor had to perform and to repair deteriorated proportions of the metal decking that was discovered in roof areas G and H. The amount of the change order is $35,625. And this is the work that was conducted as of to date of February 7th. Questions?
We need a recommendation.
The administration recommends the approval as presented by Mr. Herrera, Director.
Okay, we have a recommendation, colleagues from administration. May I entertain a motion?
So move.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mr. Garcia. Any discussion, colleagues? Go ahead. That is 2A. Okay, so no more discussion on it? Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Rodriguez, second by Mr. Garcia. All in favor by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed by saying nay? Okay, motion passes unanimous. On to 3. Discussion possible action to approve the high school chiller and cooling tower replacement project expense by pay application. Train US Incorporated. Ms. Chavez.
The administration recommends your approval as presented in your agenda.
Okay, we have a recommendation from administration. May I entertain a motion?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Ms. Vallejo. Second from Mr. Garcia. Any discussion, colleagues?
I know that, Mr. Herrera, I know that there's 2 towers. And so, can you just kind of elaborate a little bit about how that whole thing operates, to kind of educate.
Okay, so we have two chillers at the high school, and two towers. Ideally, you always have two, so that they can rotate. Ideally, you have two so that one doesn't break down and you don't stop, the entire 80% of the building from being cooled. And so, going back, we had issues with the chiller and the tower, and we proposed it to be replaced. The one that we have currently will be the backup, that we'll have in place. So the new chiller will be the new chiller and will also be the new water tower. If you've driven by, you can see the new tower has already been installed. And so we've been anticipated, the timeline there is May, to have the chiller inside the mechanical room and fully installed. That was the last timeline and update from Train USA, to, for completion. And so we're excited, because at this point, we have some issues with that chiller. We have an upset campus, and it's very discomforting for our students and staff. And we try and address every single issue that we have with it immediately, even though it's over the weekend, so that we can be prepared for, the next school day.
Is that what they were working on, Mr. Herrera, when that area was closed off? I know there was a concern one day that there was an area back there between the band area and the old gymnasium, and there was like a crane, or was that what they were working on?
Yes, they were removing the chiller, the old chiller, and the old tower, and so we relocated those equipments to our maintenance yard, and we have both pieces of equipment back there, and we're trying to get spare parts, whatever is it that we can use for the future for the one that we do have in place right now. And so we're requesting approval for application number 4 in the sum amount of $134,717 for the high school chiller and cooling tower replacement.
Any more discussion, colleagues? Okay, we have a motion from Ms. Vallejo, second by Mr. Garcia. All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Anyone opposed will say nay? Okay, motion passed unanimous. On to the next
Thank
item.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivas. Okay, D, governance. 1, discussion of possible action to approve the request for proposals, RFQs for legal counsel services for Mercedes ISD, requested by Mr. Martinez and Mr. Hernandez. May I entertain a motion?
Motion?
Okay, a motion from Mr. Martinez,
Second.
second from Mr. Rodriguez. Okay, any discussion, colleagues? Okay, is there no discussion? We have a motion from Mr. Martinez, second by Mr. Rodriguez. All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion passes unanimous. Moving on to the consent agenda. And I will start from my left and work my over to the right. So we will start off with Mr. Garcia, and give me some time, sir, so I can do my bookkeeping.
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay. Mr. Rodriguez?
No.
Okay. Mr. Martinez?
No.
Ms. Delgado?
No.
Mrs. Vallejo? Mr. Howe? Okay, I have none, so I need to entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda in its entirety.
So moved, sir.
Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Garcia,
Second.
second from Ms. Vallejo. Any discussion? Okay, is there no discussion? We have a motion from Mr. Garcia, second by Ms. Vallejo. All in favor saying aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed will say nay? Okay, motion passes unanimous. We are moving on to executive session. Colleagues, let me read this out loud, please. Okay, executive session. If during the course of this meeting, discussion of any item on the agenda should be held in a closed meeting, the board will conduct a closed meeting in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act. Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Subchapters D and E. The board may consult with legal counsel in a matter discussed in executive session pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. A, personnel pursuant to Section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code, and attorney consultation pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. 1, resignation, terminations, appointment, evaluation, reassignments, duties, discipline of professional, paraprofessional, and non-contract employees. Teacher substitutes for maintenance, transportation, cafeteria department. B, student discipline. C, discussion and private consultation with attorney regarding pending or contemplated litigation, settlement matters, and/or matters where the professional duty on the state board requires private consultation with school attorney. It is 8:42. This school board is in executive session.